Hi, welcome to Flora Friday. I'm Jenny Martin, ethnobotanist, and today we're going to look at these plants all around me. I am in a bluebell woodland, so one of my favourite places, one of the things I love most about a bluebell woodland, and before you even come across them you can smell them, and I'm sure many people, especially from the UK, will be hopefully familiar with this, and if not, get yourself out to a bluebell woodland because they're absolutely stunning. Apparently the bluebell has been voted one of our favourite plants, and in fact 50% of the population of bluebells in the world occur in the UK. It is a protected species under the Countryside and Wildlife Act, so it is illegal to uproot and sell on any bluebells. They are under threat because of loss of habitat, because they're actually a woodland species and they really like ancient woodlands. In fact, these are an ancient woodland indicator, so when you find bluebells in a natural habitat, often it's an indicator that there was an ancient woodland, or it is an ancient woodland in that location. So the threats are the loss of habitat, but also we have a Spanish bluebell which can hybridize with this bluebell, which looks really quite different. There are similarities, but it looks different. And they are hybridizing and therefore out-competing our native bluebell. So if you are interested in the conservation of this species, if you go on the Woodland Trust website, they are doing a survey in having people log where they see their native bluebells and the Spanish bluebells, so I'm sure they'll be delighted to get some of your data. So if you have a good look at it, let's have a close-up look at it. So in our native bluebell, it has an inflorescence that is drooping like this, whereas in the Spanish bluebell, it curls all the way around and it's much more upright. Here you can see the recurved tepals, and in the Spanish bluebell, they're not recurved, they're actually much straighter. Looking inside, you'll see there are 6 stamen, and the stamen on the 3 on the outer ring are attached to the tepals, and they're attached a long way along the length of the tepals, and that's another way you can tell that this is a native bluebell, whereas in the Spanish bluebell they're not attached so far along. You can also see on our native bluebell the pollen on the anthers are a cream colour, and on the Spanish bluebell they're like a blue colour, a bluey purple colour. So from an ethnobotanical point of view, this plant, other than just lifting the spirits and making people feel just fantastic when they're in a bluebell woodland, which is an important ethnobotanical use, is historically the bulbs have been used to create a glue, and that glue has been used for bookbinding or for apparently stiffening collars in Victorian clothing, and also in our ancestors where they would do what's called fletching, is where they would attach a feather to an arrow when they're out hunting. The plant is toxic, so it's really important if you're into wild food that if you are out and about digging up some bulbs, be that ramsons or wild onions, be really cautious that make sure you are not digging up the bulbs of and eating the bulbs of bluebells. There is a bit of research around the bluebell bulb being used being investigated for some medicinal purposes, and there is some folklore around it being used for medicinal purposes. And there you have it, the wonderful bluebell, one of our nation's favourite plants, and you can just see why. It's absolutely stunning.